A lot of people want to see me fail, and that ain't gonna happen. You know, it ain't gonna happen. I was a 5th round pick. I got skipped by everybody at least 5 times. so it's game. You know, it is what it is. But I'm just thankful for where I am now.
Breaking news out of Cleveland, and Shedeur Sanders is officially done playing nice. Even after the Browns scraped out that rough win against the Raiders, the young QB made it clear he's not holding back anymore. When the talk turned to first-team reps, you could see the tension in his eyes, and honestly, who could blame him? How long is a quarterback supposed to sit quiet while the coach keeps handing starting snaps to everyone except the guy who's actually showing growth, control, and that real hunger to lead? Shedeur's words cut deep. They show a young quarterback who already gets something many veterans still can't figure out: how to block out the noise. When he said people want to see him fail, you could feel the weight behind every word. That frustration isn't weakness, it's motivation. He's not whining. He's firing a warning shot straight at doubt itself. And here's the craziest part: even with all that pressure building around him, he's calm, almost too calm. For someone who's barely getting the reps he deserves, that level of poise says a lot about who he's turning into. Shedeur isn't just battling opponents, he's fighting expectations, false narratives, and all the people waiting to see him slip up. Still, he stands tall, shoulders relaxed, saying, "It's not gonna happen." That's real confidence. That's lived experience. That's a young man who's tired of being underestimated. And when he talks about being relaxed, focused, prepared, and covered by faith, it hits deep because that kind of peace doesn't come from a perfect setup. It comes from surviving the storm. It comes from surviving a messy one. Picture this: walking into a game knowing you haven't been given real first-team rhythm, no solid reps, and a system that still doesn't fit your style. Yet somehow, you stay calm, locked in, and still feel protected. That's not luck. That's maturity way beyond his years. Meanwhile, Coach Stefanski is out here acting like preparation is optional, flipping through quarterbacks like pages in a playbook. So how's Shedeur staying this cool when the man in charge of his development can't even give him the stability he's earned? How do you stay relaxed when the guy calling the shots keeps throwing the whole system into chaos? Maybe Shedeur's peace doesn't come from trusting Stefanski. Maybe it comes from rising above Stefanski. When he said he already visualized the game before it even happened, that should have made Stefanski sweat a little, because that means Shedeur's putting in the mental work, the kind the coaching staff should be guiding, not leaving him to figure out on his own. If the game's already been played in his mind, then why isn't the coach giving him the reps to match that preparation?
I'm not gonna lie, I felt very relaxed, very relaxed. And half of that comes from preparing, studying, and knowing I got God on my side. So throughout all that, I had no worries. I didn't feel nervous or anything before the game because, you know, like, he took all my worries and everything away.
Why does a young quarterback have to depend on mental reps just to make up for the physical ones he never gets? Why does Shedeur seem to believe in the process more than the man running the process? That says everything. Shedeur's not just preparing, he's evolving. He's carrying himself like someone who already knows he's built for something bigger, even if his own coach can't see it yet. And honestly, how long before that tension finally explodes? How long before people start asking out loud if Stefanski's the one holding him back, holding back the very player who's proving he's ready to lead this team? Shedeur's story shows a young man who got humbled by the draft, but never broken by it. Getting skipped over that many times isn't something you just shrug off. That's the league straight up telling you they don't believe in you, that you're not their guy, that your name doesn't shine the same way as the others. But look at him now, standing tall on an NFL field, playing with pure heart, speaking with calm maturity, and moving like someone who should have been picked way higher. The league judged wrong. They looked at numbers, not hunger. They listened to noise, not truth. And they let a quarterback with real fire and discipline slide right through their hands. Now, every one of those teams has to sit back and watch him rise in front of the whole world, knowing they passed on him again and again. That's not just a bad pick, that's a straight up system failure. Because how do you miss a player with this kind of poise, this level of focus, and this much leadership? How do you overlook that mindset, that unshakable character that screams, "I belong here"? And now the spotlight's burning hotter than ever. Every snap, every throw, every sideline glance, all eyes are locked on Shedeur Sanders. You can feel it. That mix of pressure and purpose sitting heavy on his shoulders. But instead of cracking under it, he's using it like fuel, turning every doubt into motivation and every whisper into a challenge. The cameras might catch his calm face, but behind those eyes, there's strategy, there's patience, and there's a quiet fire waiting for its moment to explode. He's not just trying to earn respect anymore.
So you the thing is, I visualize everything during the week. The game was already played, so that's why I have confidence. That's why I'm able to talk how I talk, walk how I walk.
He's demanding it with every play, and that confidence isn't arrogance. It's built from every setback, every no, every coach or scout who overlooked him. Meanwhile, you can sense the unease creeping through the locker room. Players noticing how Shedeur's composure exposes the cracks in the coaching. Stefanski's decisions are starting to look shaky, and the questions are getting louder. Why is the team's most composed quarterback still fighting for his rightful spot? How long before the organization realizes what they've got sitting right in front of them? Shedeur's presence changes the energy in the room. It's not just talent, it's leadership. When he speaks, people listen. When he moves, the team follows. That's the kind of presence you can't coach, the kind that demands respect even in silence. And the truth is, if the Browns don't start building around him soon, someone else will, because quarterbacks like Shedeur Sanders don't stay overlooked forever. And the buzz just keeps growing louder. Every week, the chatter around Shedeur Sanders is turning into straight-up noise. From fans, analysts, even rival players. Everyone's talking, but Shedeur, he's staying locked in, letting his game do the talking. That calm focus is starting to rattle people, especially the ones who underestimated him from day one. You can see it on the sidelines, teammates feeding off his energy, veterans giving him that nod of respect that doesn't come easy in the league. This isn't hype anymore, it's recognition. The young quarterback is showing that leadership isn't about age, it's about presence. And when he steps on that field, it's like he flips a switch. The whole team feels that shift, that unspoken belief that maybe, just maybe, this kid is the one to change everything. But behind the scenes, the tension keeps brewing. Rumors are floating that Stefanski's seat is getting warm. And you can't help but wonder if Shedeur's rise is exposing the bigger problem, leadership at the top. Because if a young quarterback can stay this focused while the system around him keeps stumbling, that says more about the system than it does about him. Every throw, every read, every decision he makes under pressure, it's becoming a statement. Shedeur isn't waiting for validation, he's earning it right in front of everyone. And if this keeps up, it won't just be Cleveland buzzing. The entire league's gonna have to admit they slept on a star. And just when people thought they'd figured Shedeur Sanders out, he flipped the script again. That calm, collected demeanor suddenly turned electric on the field. You could see it in the way he commanded the huddle, the way he looked his teammates dead in the eye like, we're not leaving here without a win. That's not just confidence, that's leadership born from grind, from being counted out, from proving people wrong every single snap. The crowd could feel it too. Every pass, every scramble, every perfectly timed throw sent a jolt through the stadium. This wasn't the same rookie they thought they could overlook. This was a statement game, and Shedeur made sure the message was loud and clear. He's not here to blend in, he's here to take over.
I still got an opportunity to play, so why can't I be mad, you know? Money different, but thankfully I have a good family, you know, so it is what it is. We're not playing for that, we're playing for the love of the game. So I'm just thankful to be out here, have an opportunity, be able to go and play. Go out there and play, go out there and start. Like, you don't know how surreal, you know, that feeling is, knowing that you have the responsibility of the Browns organization on your shoulders, you know? Having all the fans, you know? Everybody in here arguing with each other online and everything. Everybody have their differences about me. It is what it is.
Meanwhile, Stefanski's usual play calling started to look shaky again, and fans weren't quiet about it. The boos weren't for Shedeur. They were for the man who kept trying to box him in. And that's when it really hit people. Maybe the problem isn't the young quarterback at all. Maybe it's the system trying too hard to control a player who's already outgrown the leash. You could almost feel the shift happening in real time. Shedeur taking ownership of the game, the team rallying around him, and the city starting to believe in something new. That spark, that energy, that unstoppable drive, it's bigger than football now. It's about a young man forcing everyone, coaches, scouts, the league, to finally see what they should have seen from the start. The league should honestly be ashamed for letting Shedeur Sanders fall that far. So many players with half his drive and none of his humility got drafted before him. And now the whole world's seeing just how bad that mistake was. But here's the kicker. The Browns aren't off the hook either. Even after they landed him, they acted like he wasn't ready. They held him back, kept the leash on too long, and it cost them real games. You can hear it in Shedeur's voice when he talks, that balance of gratitude and grit. He loves the game, he's thankful for the shot, but he also understands the weight of carrying an entire franchise on his back. And now that he's doing it, the real question is, why didn't Cleveland trust him sooner? Why waste all that time cycling through quarterbacks who didn't have his focus, his preparation, his heart? How many wins slipped away because they chose safe over special? It's wild to think how different their season could look right now if they had just believed in the talent sitting on their own bench from day one. It took injuries, media pressure, and pure chaos for the Browns to finally wake up and see what they had right in front of them.
I'll be here. you know. God, the only way I'm able to even get through everything, you know. Being able to see my family, that was important, and I'm happy they was here to be able to witness it.
And that delay, that might be the line between a winning season and a wasted one, because Shedeur was never the problem. The real question is, why did it take Cleveland so long to realize he was the solution? Shedeur's mindset right now shows a young quarterback who gets it, something his own coaching staff still hasn't figured out. Greatness doesn't need perfect conditions. It's about rising despite the chaos. While others panic, he leans on faith, on family, on pure inner strength just to survive a setup where the preparation he should have gotten was never there to begin with. And instead of whining about it, he flips it into accountability, owning every moment like a pro. He moves like someone who knows the world won't hand out sympathy, so he doesn't waste a second asking for it. That kind of maturity, that's rare, especially for someone this young. Most rookies would have folded under that kind of pressure, especially when all the basics, the reps, the rhythm, the trust, the system were kept out of reach. Yet somehow, even after being tossed into the fire without a real offseason plan, he still walks out calm, focused, and grounded, like it's all part of the mission. That doesn't just happen. That's built from character, discipline, and a mindset molded by adversity. And here's where the Stefanski part stings, because Shedeur's words quietly call out what the coach refuses to admit. The kid didn't get the reps he earned, didn't get the pipeline or early investment every developing quarterback deserves. Yet instead of Stefanski stepping up and taking ownership, it's Shedeur who shoulders the blame, carries the burden, and still delivers like a vet. That's not just poise. That's proof he's built for something bigger than this moment. And now the truth's out in the open. Everyone's starting to see what Shedeur Sanders has been quietly showing all along. You can feel that shift around the league. Coaches whispering, analysts scrambling, fans realizing the kid they doubted might actually be that guy.
Without God, nothing possible, honestly. And I mean that truly and dearly. And everybody starts different places. And like I say, just because I didn't get the summer reps, you know, just because I wasn't in a...
Tell it like it is. Tell it like it is. Nope, he ain't get them.
For me to be prepared to go out there and execute, like from a summer standpoint, that's how life is. You know, everybody's not in the best situation, you know, but it's no excuse. You got to go out there and perform. Like, there's no choices.
The same player they thought needed time is out here proving he's years ahead of schedule. What's wild is how he carries himself through it all. No ego, no shade, just pure focus. When reporters try to bait him into controversy, he keeps it cool, answers with class, and lets his play do the talking. That's what separates him from so many others. He's not chasing headlines, he's building a legacy. Every drive, every throw, every read under pressure, it's another reminder that Cleveland doesn't just have a quarterback, they've got a future leader in the making, but behind that calm confidence, you can tell he hasn't forgotten how he got here. Every snub, every doubt, every time a coach looked past him, it's still fuel. You can see it in the way he practices, the way he studies film, like he's carrying the weight of every underdog who's ever been overlooked. And now, the Browns have a choice to make. Are they going to finally build around the man proving he can carry this franchise? Or are they going to risk losing the spark that's reigniting their entire future? Because one thing's clear, Shedeur Sanders isn't waiting for permission anymore. He's taking control of his own story, one game at a time. And as the season pushes deeper, the noise around Shedeur Sanders isn't slowing down. It's erupting. Every performance feels like another chapter in a redemption story the whole league's being forced to watch. The same teams that passed on him are now praying they won't have to face him, because he's turning every game into a reminder of what they lost. You can see it on the field, his command, his presence, his calm under chaos. The offense looks different when he's under center. It's sharper, more confident, more dangerous. And it's not because the playbook suddenly changed, it's because Shedeur changed the energy. He's turned a shaky system into something that actually believes in itself. Even the veterans are starting to rally behind him. That locker room energy, it's shifting. You can feel that mix of respect and belief growing stronger every week. When your teammates start fighting harder because of you, that's leadership in its purest form. That's something no coach can manufacture.
Now, since I went through everything the past 6 months, it led me to a whole different understanding, you know, and it led me in my own experience with God, with having faith, you know, when nobody else can help you in your situation, you know, but God, you know. So that's why I'm truly thankful and I'm truly happy. And this is the first time I was never had stress, you know. I did the work. I did everything I can in my power I was able to do. So the rest is was left up to him.
And now, all eyes are on Stefanski and the Browns front office. Are they going to wake up and hand the keys fully to the man already steering this team forward? Because the league's watching, the fans are talking, and Shedeur's out here proving he's not a temporary spark. He's the foundation for what's next. This isn't just a comeback story anymore. It's the rise of a player rewriting Cleveland's entire identity, one fearless snap at a time. And now, with every passing week, Shedeur Sanders is no longer the surprise. He's the standard. The whole league's starting to adjust. Defenses studying extra film just to figure out how to slow him down. But the wild part, they still can't crack the code. He's reading blitzes like a vet, dodging pressure, making plays that leave defenders frozen, and doing it all with that same calm stare that says, "I've been here before." What's making people talk isn't just the stats, it's his presence, that silent leadership that makes everyone around him better. You can see it when the offense huddles up, players leaning in, eyes locked on him, ready to go to war for their quarterback. That kind of command can't be coached. It's earned through respect, through consistency, through proving you're built for the moment. Meanwhile, critics who once doubted him are suddenly changing their tone. The same voices that said he wasn't NFL ready are now calling him one of the most composed young quarterbacks in the game. Funny how the story shifts once the results start talking louder than the opinions. And if you look close, there's something deeper happening. Shedeur isn't just changing games, he's changing the culture. He's bringing belief back to a city that's been waiting for a true leader under center. The Browns finally have a reason to stand tall, and it's all because one young quarterback refused to let doubt define his destiny. This isn't hype anymore, it's history in motion. That's not coaching excellence, that's a quarterback saving his coach from his own mistakes. How does Stefanski watch this young man step in with barely a week of real prep and still pretend the QB battle was ever close? How does a coach justify holding him back all summer, only to expect him to magically carry the team when everything starts falling apart? It makes no sense. Shedeur isn't the one making excuses. Stefanski is the excuse. And the more Shedeur steps up with composure and quiet leadership, the clearer it becomes who's truly keeping the Browns alive and who's been holding them back. Every snap, every moment of calm under pressure is proof that this team's stability doesn't come from the headset on the sideline, it comes from the poise in the pocket. What Shedeur is showing right now goes beyond football. It's emotional growth on a whole other level. You rarely see that kind of maturity in a young player, especially one thrown straight into chaos with no safety net. What he's describing is transformation, not just as an athlete, but as a man who's had to find peace in uncertainty, strength in isolation, and focus in a storm that was supposed to break him. Most people don't even realize the weight he's been carrying. He had to dig deeper than the game itself to find his footing again. That kind of faith doesn't appear overnight. It's built from pain, from feeling like you've got no one but yourself and something higher to lean on. You can hear it in his voice. Shedeur isn't just learning how to play quarterback, he's learning how to become one in the truest sense. He's learning how to survive everything. The pressure, the loneliness, the doubt, and all the noise that comes with the spotlight. And because of that, Shedeur Sanders is calmer now, grounded in a way that only comes from being tested. He's figured out what he can control and what he can't, learning how to breathe through the chaos instead of fighting every wave. That's not just growth, that's evolution. The kind of growth people ignore when they only care about numbers on a stat sheet. What makes it even more powerful is how he talks about the work. He handles his business, does his part, and then lets go of what's out of his hands. That's maturity most veterans still chase. He prepared like a pro, studied like his future depended on it, and stayed disciplined even when everything around him felt unfair and unstable. Instead of cracking under the pressure, he used it like a weight room for his mindset, building peace where most would have folded. That's why he wasn't stressed walking into that game. That's why his calm looked unshakable. Not because life got easier, but because he finally learned how to carry the pressure without letting it crush him. What he's showing now is deeper than football. It's self-awareness, a young player turning into a man right in front of everyone watching, whether they like him or not. And that inner strength, that's what's going to keep him here for the long run. He's calling out how easy it is for fans, analysts, and even coaches to sit on the sidelines pretending they've got all the answers while he had to live the hard lessons. Being thrown into a brutal matchup against one of the toughest defenses in the league forced him to grow faster than anyone expected. And it also exposed the truth. The coaching staff didn't prepare him the way they should have. They treated him like a future project instead of the present leader he already is. And now, everyone's seeing just how wrong that approach was. And yet, instead of breaking, Shedeur Sanders adapted. He learned on the field what the coaches refused to give him in practice, and that's what people should really be talking about. A rookie thrown straight into chaos with barely any first-team chemistry, while veteran quarterbacks around the league get years to sit back, study, and ease their way in. But Shedeur, he had to figure it out live, in real time, taking real hits against real opponents, and somehow he still turned it into growth. That says everything about his mindset and grit, because while others were handed comfort, he had to build his own stability. He took on a mess he didn't create, steadied it, and came out tougher, sharper, and more confident than ever. That's not luck, that's not system, and it's definitely not coaching genius. That's pure work ethic and heart. Shedeur did the job the organization should have done for him from the start, proving he's been ready for this role all along. Everyone tried to deny him. Everyone tried to downplay his rise. But after that Browns win against the Raiders, there's no denying it anymore. His leadership, his calm, and his fire are reshaping this team right before our eyes. He's not just surviving the moment, he's owning it. So what do you think? After watching Shedeur step up again in that Raiders game, has he earned the right to take full control of this offense moving forward? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear it all. And if you vibed with this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and stay locked in for more deep dives and behind-the-scenes breakdowns. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.